Hi, my name is Rich Shumaker, and I have a YouTube channel.
Hands, everyone. Hands. That is the title screen for this week. It is hands. Those are my mom's hands. She's fine. There's nothing wrong with her hands. She has arthritis. We're going to do some hand exercises, and we're going to be using Chinese exercise balls, everybody. So Chinese exercise balls, shockingly, come from China. They actually come from a place called Bahading. Be on the lookout for these. You can get them pretty much at any local flea market or place like that. These have no chimes. If you shake them, you won't hear chimes. No chimes. Now, the ones that you're probably going to find in your local flea market or in Chinatown or Little Tokyo, here in LA, they will have chimes in them. And they also, a lot of the times, will have what it's called Cloisonné. Cloisonné is a little pattern put on top. These are just the standard silvers with no chime inside. What I want you to do is if you have two, just go like this. And now I'm keeping them apart and going in one direction. Just like last week, you have two hands. So make sure to try it on both sides. Now, if you can keep them apart and go in one direction, I want you to keep them apart and go in the other direction. Both hands, both directions, keeping them apart. Now, that's actually a little bit more complicated. It's actually a little bit easier to keep them together when you first start. What I typically have people do is keep them together to start with. And you just want to go the direction that feels comfortable. A lot of people will say, well, is clockwise the way to go? Is counterclockwise the way to go? Whatever your hand feels right. Now, if you try to go in the other direction and you can't get them to move, what I want you to do is just push them. Give a helping hand, and there you go. That's the introduction to spinning. And what we're doing is we're working on our hands. See my mom's hands? My mom's hands have arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis to be exact. And these spheres, I do these because of those hands that you're seeing on the screen. She has plastic joints all across here and all across here, and I'm trying to avoid that. Now, I can feel arthritis in my hands. My pinky wants to go like that. It really does. So I highly encourage anyone that has arthritis in your family to pick up the spheres, the balls, the round objects early in life and start spinning them. You just spin them a couple times a day, both directions, both ways. And remember, you have two hands. Still don't know why. Make sure to try it on both sides. Now, what I want you to do is practice together and apart, both hands, both directions. Now, that's a lot of things to be working on. I'm going to do something that helps me as well. Now, this is a little bit more complex, so I'm not expecting you to get this for at least a month. Maybe a week, maybe a day. Yeah, tomorrow. You should be doing this tomorrow. Kidding. That's a joke, everybody. If you do attempt to do this, it's called vertical palm spinning. You should learn this trick first. See that trick? It's called the upside down. Yeah, I can't see it either. I'm back. Last week, we used an orange. And this week, I got two more oranges. Believe it or not, everybody at the house was like, can we eat the oranges? And I said, sure, you can eat the oranges. So last week, I had to spend $2 on props, and this week, they were on sale. I only spent like $1. So it pays to go to the supermarket, if you know what that is. And these are actual oranges, people. I didn't buy this at a prop shop. This is not a fake orange. This is a real orange. I'll be eating this later, or somebody will be eating this later. This week, silver sphere. I think the sizing on this is 73 millimeters. The reason it's in millimeters is it's made in China. Most of the round objects I use are standard sizings. This is important because if you get a 3-inch and you get a 76 millimeter, people will say 76 millimeter is 3-inch. It's not. People that have been spinning spheres long enough, they know the difference. They can feel it. You can feel millimeters or micromillimeters of difference. It's really weird. So if I gave you two 76s and one 3-inch, you'd be like, huh, feels weird. Make sure when you're buying spheres, especially for spinning, which we were just doing, you buy all of the same type, whether it's standard sizes, which are in inches, or metric sizings, which are in millimeters. So back to the sphere. So last week, we did walking. We walked forward, we walked backward, and we walked side to side. We did back of the hand. Back of the hand. See, I got the fingers better this week. If you're back of the hand and you've been practicing last week and this week and you've been able to go up and down without Bibble, Bobble, Fibble, Fobble, or drop Dun, dun, dun. Remember, 30 seconds. 30 seconds. 3-0. This is 0 and this is a 3. 30 seconds of back of the hand, up and down and all around. I'm going to show you what we're going to be doing first. That's it. Contact jugglers learn how to do a very specific move, and that very specific move hampers you. It's called butterfly. It hampers you from doing this trick. It actually took me about 3, 4, 5, 6 months to get this solid because I kept making mistakes because I didn't know at the time all I needed to do was that. And I mean literally, place the round object on the back of your hand and twist. That's it. That's all I want you to do. Now, this is where the bibble and the bobble and the fibble and the fobble and potentially the drop will come into play because you're going back the other way. Now, when it comes back the other way, and if you don't have control yet on the back of your hand, it'll probably do what just happened. What I want you to do, 30 seconds up and down, all around. And remember, you have 2 hands. Make sure you try it on both sides. And it's as simple as that. There's a lot of names for this. I called it, when I first started doing it, I called this the flip because I was just flipping my hand. Michael, he calls it the index finger roll. Now the next one is going to be over the pinky, and we're not able to do that same twist. Your hand doesn't twist like that easily. You could hurt yourself and do it. I've done that. Don't call me if you hurt yourself, people. Call a doctor, not a doctor. I'm just telling you, warm up, stretch, do things like that. We warmed up our hands first. Now, we're going to do the second of the 3 moves I'm going to show you today. So the first was the flip. Now the second, since we can't turn our hand like that, we got to come up with a different way to do it. So what I've come up with, my hand goes in an arc, comes up to the top, and comes back down. Up to the top, comes back down. Now if I was doing this live and in person, as I've done many times, I would actually take your hand and I would guide it through this because this motion is not the most natural of motions. Your body is going to be like, I don't understand what's happening. So what I want you to do is hold the round object, the ball, the sphere in the other hand. Place it as you're making these moves and watch what happens. It goes like that. And remember how before I said if you can't get it to spin properly, you're going to use a helping hand? That is exactly what we're doing right here. So it's going to come up to a point and fall. And when it starts to head towards the ground, you're going to swoop underneath. Head up, falls, swoop underneath. Head up, fall, swoop underneath. Trying to stay in frame. And it looks like that. So that is the move right there. And remember, oh, that was a bibble. Might have been a bobble. Could it have been a fibble or a fobble? Back of the hand, 30 seconds. Now, I'm going to switch from the silver ball to an orange. Now, the reason I'm switching to an orange is twofold. First reason is I'm in a tight space here. Remember last week, know your surroundings. I could do those moves fairly easily with the cramped space that I'm in. I highly don't recommend learning how to do this in the micro studio. I highly recommend getting space. Try to get space around yourself, practice over a bed. Don't practice next to mirrors, electronics, anything that can break. Again, don't call me if you break stuff, because duh, be aware of your surroundings, people. That's what I'm trying to say. Flip, flop, flip, flop, flip, flop. Index, pinky, pinky, index, pinky, index. Now, we're going to do the butterfly. Now, the butterfly, you're going to take that trough, either 2-finger or 3-finger. You're going to place the ball in it. I'll do it left-handed. So, you're going to throw like that. Did you see that? Can you see that? Yeah, I think you can. Be aware of your surroundings, people. Hence the reason I switched, because this move takes more space. Now, this is a transfer palm to palm. Now, when you take the back-to-back and the palm-to-palm, you get something that I like to call around the world. It looks like that. Now, bibble, bobble, fibble, fobble, or drop, up, down, all around. 30 seconds, people. That's basically the lesson. I'd highly recommend watching it a couple of times. Bonus, these are called lacrosse balls. I have 3 of them. We were spinning earlier. Just like this. When you take the third, you cannot keep these together. The challenge this week is to get 3 sticky spheres. I have round objects that don't want to play together. And so that means I have to keep them apart. So this week, That is your challenge, is to keep them apart. I will give you a little tip. You can't go like this. You have to relax your hand, and I would recommend starting with 2 with a relaxed hand. See how there's a huge space? Huge space. Now, when you add the third, boom, create space. Boom, create space. Boom, create space. Why didn't you just put one on top? Because if you put one on top, that top one, fuzz, that top one will actually push the other ones down. And this is actually easier than this. Shockingly, it is. That's why this is a challenge. Please don't start doing this right away. You're gonna hurt your hands. If you have any questions, drop them on the Flow of the Round Facebook page. Drop them into the YouTube comments section on the videos. Or, wait for it, tweet using the hashtag FLOTR. I'm going to leave you with a little bit of roly roly, roly roly, roly roly, roll, roll. Hands, everyone. Hands. That's why I keep the hat around. So I can do this. Oh, yeah. Without Fibble, Fobble, Bibble, Bobbles, it's sticky balls. I'm hot. I got sticky balls. Seriously. I just said that.